Hi everyone, hope you're all having a wonderful day. Here we are already at the end of March. I'm actually not upset about it. March is a difficult month where I live because it's technically spring, but around here, it stays winter. The weather is slowly warming up. I'm looking forward to April, and here at the end of the month, I always like to do a speed review of all of the products I have been testing lately. I will also share a good read at the end of the video that I had this month. Let's get right into the makeup reviews. Let's start with eyeshadow. So I have two Flower Nose palettes that I have been testing. This is the one that I'm wearing on my eyes today. This is from their newest collection. This is called the Bunny Garden collection, and this is the second palette, Moon Serenade. Every single palette I've ever tried from them is beautiful. And I picked this one because it was way more cool toned than the other ones that I have. So we have 4 mattes in this palette, 1 shimmer shade, and then 1 sparkle top coat shade. Swatched on the back of my hand, I feel like you can see that this is a very gently pigmented palette, more so than I was used to with the first palettes I tried from them. That being said, the shades do build up. I mean, you can see them on my eyes. I'm wearing this shade throughout my crease, this shade, just a little bit of this shade, buffed in the outer corners, deep it up a little bit. I put this shiny light pink on my inner corner, this sparkle top coat here, if I can get it in the light. It's a nice sparkle top coat. Let me try and get a better swatch of that so you can see that better. Yeah, like that one has lots of like cute, pretty little purple sparkles. I'm not sure why I didn't want to show up in the back of my hand very well. So the looks I've gotten from this one, very pretty, but they all kind of look the same. Not really a problem. I just was expecting a little bit more pigment, I guess, from this, but it does make it very easy to use when they're super buildable like that. And I really do have a weakness for this color that I have through my crease. This shade right here, kind of that cool taupe. I think pretty much every look I use using this palette will use this through the crease, and then I'll have the sparkle on my lid. That's just how I'm going to use it. So I am very happy with it. I'm not completely blown away, but I am happy with it. It is kind of the same story actually with this one. This was from their Shells Jewel collection, and this is palette number 1, Moonlight Pearl. Now the actual shades in this one are like very muted. So look at the mattes in this one. They're like really desaturated, and I know I'm like turning super weirdly. I still do not have mobility back in my wrist. I realized I shouldn't have swatched it on this hand. I'm trying to show you. But I think you can see, once again, these are very, very buildable mattes with those kind of desaturated shades. But this particular palette has 2 top coats, one that is more of a silvery and one that is more purple. They're both very sparkly, very beautiful. I like them. I do think that I will be keeping a lookout for their new collections that of course will be released throughout the year. If I see a palette with a different color story than I have, you know, I might grab it. Moving on from Flower Nose, let's talk about Fwee. I'm wearing one of the Fwee lip glosses. These were on sale during Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. I couldn't help it. Ugh. I got 3 shades because I simply could not choose. Right now I'm wearing one of the most popular shades. This is called Dirty Cola, and this comes in actually 2 variations. One they call 70%. This is the 30%. It just means it's less pigmented, and I do prefer a less pigmented gloss nowadays. So I thought that was really cool that they have those different options. But this is what Dirty Cola looks like. I also picked up Cherry Cola, probably the most popular shade, which, oh, I love that. The other one I picked up is the shade Scotch. Ooh, I love this one, which looks like that. The formula is not at all sticky, but it's also kind of plushy. Some lip gloss formulas are so thin they almost feel like a lip oil. This is like on the other side where it's more of a thick plushy feel, but again, not at all sticky. Very comfortable. A slight fruity-ish scent, I suppose, but I haven't experienced any sort of discomfort wearing these. I kind of have been hesitating trying a lot of the new different lip formulas just because my lips have gotten more sensitive over the years, but these ones have not bothered me, which I'm very grateful for because I really think that they're a cute gloss. The only thing I wonder about with these is because the little applicator is so short, it's going to be interesting trying to get all the product out, or even most of the product out. We'll see how that goes. The mascara I have been testing this month is the Colourpop Level Up Lengthening Mascara. It is the mascara I am wearing today, and I like it, but I'm not in love with it. Don't mind my sighing dog in the background, just in case that comes through. So it has kind of a classic wand on it. I don't find it to be particularly lengthening, gotta be honest. I find it to be a pretty kind of fluttery looking mascara, however, a very, very nice everyday mascara. However, This doesn't wear perfectly for me. That's why I don't have it on my lower lashes today. It will smudge a bit. So for me, you know, it's an okay mascara. I'm probably not going to pick this one up again. Ooh, when we were talking about eyeshadow, I forgot to talk about this. So this is an eye polish from RMS Beauty. Now that I have to admit, the very first time I tried this, I had a kind of pretty negative experience. This is the shade Myth. Now it is a very oily product. I think the second ingredient is coconut oil, but the very first time I used it, there must have been oil sitting on the top, because when I used it, it was really, really oily. Now it's not nearly as oily and it's much easier to work with. That being said, you know, it's still a sheer pressed oil product. And it's meant to be a barely there look on your eyelids, and it's actually better than I thought in terms of wear time. I thought for sure it would immediately just sit in my crease and I'd have to be patting it out all day. Eventually it did crease, but I was actually pretty heavy-handed with this and it wore decently well. I was really surprised. And because it is an oil, it looks really nice on the eyelids. I really hope I got a video or a picture of it. I'll try to put it up if I have it. Now I got mine because I had some points at RMS. I'm on their like points program. So I guess I personally would not spend full price on one of these eye polishes, but if you have points to spend, or if you see these on sale and you like the idea of an oil-based cream shadow, you might enjoy this type of product. Just be aware, you know, it is going to crease, but the prettiness of it, it could not be denied. I thought it looked really, really natural and beautiful. Let's talk about highlighter before we get into blushes. So I have two highlighters to talk about. Both of these were given to me by a friend, and one is a very classic product. This is the Essence Pure Nude highlighter. This has been talked about on YouTube. I don't even know. It has to be over a decade at this point, right? This has been out for a really long time and a lot of people absolutely love it. So when I first started my channel, because I had heard so many people talk about it, I did pick this up for myself. And at the time, I didn't like it. I felt like, first of all, I couldn't see it. And then when I finally built it up enough to where I could see it, it was actually too dark. It would give me that kind of dark line when I was looking straight at a mirror. This time I applied it a little bit differently. This highlighter brush is not dense. It's very fluffy. And I tend to just kind of load it up and gently buff it on. So I'm not putting on too much in one spot. And I feel like it's actually a very beautiful, yes, but very gentle highlighter. My friend who gave this to me has more tan skin and she said it did nothing for her, which I totally get. I had another comment from somebody say that they actually use this as a glowy finishing powder. I could see how that would be gorgeous. So I'm actually happy to have this back in my collection. Thank you to my friend. The same friend gave me another one. So this is from WhatsUp Beauty. This is a beautiful highlighter. This is the Serengeti highlighter. This is the shade Wild Acacia. You guys remember when this came out? This has that beautiful design on it. So we have a pink shade and a very bright white, and they are gorgeous. They're not sparkly. It's that really beautiful kind of soft baked gelée formula where it's just glow, no sparkles. Really lovely. Thank you so much, my friend. I love it. Now let's talk about two blush formulas from Essence. First, let's talk about the Soft Touch Bouncy blushes. I did do a face swatching video trying on all 4 shades, which I can link down below if you would like to see all of those, but I am wearing this shade, number 40, Roses and Berry, today. So while yes, it is a soft bouncy blush in comparison to Rare Beauty, Glossier, MAC, you know, all the ones that are out right now, I would say this is the most stiff of the ones that I have tried. And out of them all, this one takes probably a little tiny bit more time to blend out. However, just like those other formulas, this is a really beautiful soft matte finish. And it's probably a good place to start for a cream blush if you're someone who usually prefers powder. With this cream to powder formula, it's very easy to use, non-sticky, and I think user-friendly. There are only 4 shades. I wish Essence would come out with more, and these blushes are very popular right now. I think that they would sell well. Not like Essence is listening to me. Let's talk about the other formula they have come out with. This is the Soft Baked formula, Soft Baked blush. These are very glowy. So I have the shade number 30, Rose All Day here. This is the one that has a very strong gold glow to it. I actually think the pink shade underneath is very pretty, but I think the gold in it is a bit much. For me personally, this one is just too much, even though it's actually quite pretty. I could see someone using this as an eyeshadow. The problem I had with these is the lighter shades, you need to use a lot of the product in order to make it even show up on your skin, and then you end up with a very, very glowy cheek. The darker shades, I didn't have that much of a problem with. I felt like the glow in them was really, really beautiful. I just need to be careful with how much I use. I felt like for a lot of that cheek swatching video, again, I can link that one down below, I felt like I looked kind of crazy. So I personally have to be careful with this formula. This shade is shade number 10, Soft Bloom. This is the lightest shade, and I can't decide if I'm gonna put this in my highlighter collection or if I'm gonna leave it in my blush collection and just use it as a topper, because it actually is really beautiful. But you see how glowy that is? I mean, it looks just like a highlighter. One thing to mention though about the glow on these is that it is very glowy and not sparkly. I think that the glow is well done in terms of its texture. Just if someone isn't aware that these are glowy, I think they're gonna be in for a bit of a surprise when they first put them on. I think my favorite shade was shade number 60, Cocoa Glaze. It's a beautiful kind of terracotta rose. Oh, I love that. But you see how even though it's glowy, for some reason, it's just not as glowy as these lighter shades. A little bit more easy to handle. Okay, those were the products I had ready to review for you. Now to talk about a good read that I had this month. This is actually something I've been reading over the past several months, and I'm actually not even finished with it yet. And I normally would never talk about a book before I finished it. However, this is a book of poetry, and I'm not normally a poetry reader. I find that a lot of poetry makes me sad and depressed, which I try to avoid things that make me sad and depressed, but oh my goodness, have I been enjoying this. Now, if you already know poetry, you know who Mary Oliver is, and right now you're like, yep, that is a fantastic book. But in case you're like me and you're just not in the know about poetry, Mary Oliver is Pulitzer Prize winning. This particular book, Devotions, she put together herself from her long career, like selected poems from her different published works. She writes a lot about nature. In one of her poems, she talks about just standing at the window with her notebook, just watching the sunrise, just waiting for inspiration. And that's kind of how I feel all her poems feel. You feel like you are in the stillness, in the quiet, just experiencing the world around you. And I just find them so beautiful and relatable. Sometimes poetry can be a little bit too much in the author's head, I suppose. Like, sometimes I'm like, well, how are we supposed to understand what you're trying to say? I feel like her poems are easily understandable. And while some of them are sad, especially when she's talking about her dogs, a lot of them are just rejoicing in nature, and I love them. I'll just read you this one. It's called This Morning. This morning, the redbird's eggs have hatched, and already the chicks are chirping for food. They don't know where it's coming from. They just keep shouting, more, more. As to anything else, they haven't had a single thought. Their eyes haven't yet opened. They know nothing about the sky that's waiting, or the thousands, the millions of trees. They don't even know they have wings. And just like that, like a simple neighborhood event, a miracle is taking place. It's just beautiful stuff. That being said, if you have more recommendations like that, please leave that in the comments. I would love to hear it. And here we are at the end of the video. This is always where I like to share my tea of the day. Today I am drinking this one from Tea Viver. I wanted something a little bracing today. I'm just feeling like, you know, the end of winter, that very kind of tired, unable to wake up feeling. So I needed something to give me the energy. While this tea is a little bit more punchy, it's still not gonna hurt my stomach. It's got a mellowness to it that's almost potato-ish, sweet potato-ish, but it tastes like it has caffeine. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.